Tuesday. Of course, it's Tuesday. How else could you try being on spot if it wasn't Tuesday? Mm-mm. Hey, TikTok dance, right? That's what you gotta do. You gotta dance. What do you think, man? It's like a dab from someone who is very challenged in understanding what a dab is. Or for my 420 friends, a dab from someone who took way too many dabs. That's what that was. All right. I'm excited to be here. I am. I like it. I like the idea of going live. I really do. Because it's practice, right? It's the opportunity to spit some thoughts out in the universe, get some clarity around them, have people hear them, perhaps give some feedback on them, maybe even in a challenging way. I like that part a lot, and because it helps me think things through differently, and it's just the opportunity to hopefully engage. Now, for me, the challenge is the engage part because the system I'm on doesn't allow me to see comments as they come in. So the engagement, right, or me engaging with the engagement's kind of a delayed factor, meaning I will go and look at comments and respond to them after, as opposed to handle them live, which makes me wonder why I'm doing these on LinkedIn or YouTube as opposed to Facebook, where I know I can actually see the comments as they come in. But let's not get technical with stuff like that, people. Let's not worry about those silly things. Let's worry about the content. And today we're in for a treat. For whatever reason, I decided to move pillar 5 of the 5 pillars of a life well lived all the way up to pillar 3. So we're going to talk about spiritual today. And so the 5 pillars of a life well lived, basically it's the construct of if you can find wellness or health or well-being in these 5 areas, your life will be better. So, what are the 5 areas? Well, the first one that we talked about was relationships. And you can go to trybean.com/blog and see that whole piece because it's there. The second one we talked about was mental well-being, and I'm not talking as much as I'm talking about having the right mindset, a growth-oriented mindset. Today we're going to talk a little bit about, wow, that's weird. So I don't know, it said please stand by, like something was wrong with the connection. I don't know if the connection's back or not. Dun, 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 dun. I think it's back. Let's pretend it's back. It's back. Let's call it back. Back. All right. So next week, we're talking about spiritual today. Next week, we're going to talk about financial well-being. And then in the first week of February, we'll hit the physical well-being. You're feeling extra strong. Maybe that was it. Like I was fat a couple of weeks ago and I wanted to be less fat when I got to the spiritual. I like how I said a couple of weeks ago, like, it's not true for today. I'm like that, people. I am. I like me. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share the screen. We're going to get over the presentation. You're going to see the deck. We're going to buzz through it. We'll be done in, 11-ish minutes. And that's what we're going to do. Rock on. You ready? I'm ready. That's how we rock on, people. Here we do the sharing the screen. Don't be making fun of all the things I have open because that's how I am. I have a lot of tabs. It's a good thing they're not Diet Cokes because I would have to die. Please forgive the old logo. And I'm like one screen ahead. Boom. Pillar 5. As I mentioned, we're sharing it as pillar 3. The essence of spirituality. I love this topic, man. I don't know that I'd claim to be an overly religious person. I did grow up in the church or near church, went frequently. And, I really am a huge fan of Christ. It's the Ians that drive me nuts, right? I feel like the message got distorted in many, many ways. I would much rather just bend down and wash your feet than do most anything. I do believe in a life of service, and I feel like I've got definitive proof that shows that I believe in a life of service. So I have a track record of serving because I think it's important. I think we get more spiritual fulfillment by giving than taking. So those are kind of the groundwork for me. But I have a much more universal point of view than a religious point of view. So for me, spirit more important than religion, connection to spirit more important than connection to church. So lots of thoughts on those lines that maybe I shouldn't be sharing, but you know what? I respect your point of view and am happy that you believe what you believe, regardless of what you believe. So I'm just going to assume, deadly, I'm going to assume that you'll let me some latitude too. So I appreciate you for doing that. So let's talk spirituality. Number one, we need to raise our AQ, our awareness quotient. This is a construct that I created back in 2008, maybe 2009. But it's the idea that without the right amount of awareness, both internal and external, we're going to be missing out on quite a bit. I give a whole talk on this, and I really love this as a topic. Internal awareness, what does that mean? You need to understand your biorhythms or your circadian rhythms. You need to figure out when you do your best work. You need to know what actually works for you from a sleep, from a work, from a wake, from a relationship perspective. You need to understand how to feed yourself, how to nurture yourself, and then how to make sure that you're not trying to pour from that empty cup. We actually shared that slide in episode 1, and it's really important. We have to fill ourselves up before we can run around filling up others. I know this because I've made the mistake of doing it the other way. It does not. So that's internal. External awareness is to make sure that other people know about who you are, what you do, who you serve, why they care at it, right? It's about that whole branding experience. It's about making sure that you own spot one in your network's mental Rolodex. So for me, if you're looking for an inspirational speaker, someone that's going to come in and fire your audience up and give them new ideas, fresh content, a great way to look at things that maybe they haven't considered before, trybean. See, trybean Tuesdays on the 10 spot. It's all aligned now. Look at me. I actually have a whole new logo, although I do like that logo too. Charlie made fun of the colors. Damn you, Charlie. Anyway, yeah. So definitely need some external awareness. Anyway, so that's kind of what the AQ is about. This is a quotation that came to me probably around the same time. I was really dialed in back about 15, 16 years ago, focused a lot on a few things energetically in terms of changing the energy in myself and the people that were around me in the city in which I lived, because it was important and it was necessary. So I had to learn a bunch of stuff. And because you are digging in deeper, it allows you to think differently. And I like that part. So this for me is a mantra, right? I talk about the idea of momentary mastery a lot. In fact, coincidentally, I posted about momentary mastery in a sense this morning. But momentary mastery is this, right? Figure out how to just live in this moment. Forget past, forget future, because the only thing we really have is now. So staying focused and present to that is what matters. And the whole momentary mastery thing lends itself to never having a bad day again, because if you measure your life by the moments you live, or if you measure, shrink it down, your day by the moments you live, once you realize that you have more good moments than bad moments, you couldn't possibly have a bad day again. Think about it. Oh, you like it. I know you do, and I appreciate you. All right. So this is a thought that I first read on the wall at Blight Busters, which is a great organization that was tearing down a lot of the blight in Detroit a decade plus ago. Well, frankly, for the last 3 decades. Um, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. My race, human. Period. End of story. Full stop. Racism drives me nuts. We're one race, people. There is one race. Deal with it. My neighborhood, Earth. Yay, I like that. We're all in this together. We're on the heels of Martin Luther King's birthday. And he said, we either need to live together as brothers or perish together as fools, or something along those lines. Because he recognized that our hood is a lot bigger than just this square block. In my religion, love. Straight from the heart, folks. Straight from the heart. This is a representation of the idea of finding calm, finding serenity, finding tranquility. And it's also a representation of my favorite thing to do on my paddleboard. Fun fact, today is January 24th. On Saturday, which would have been January 21st, your boy was on his paddleboard. I live in Michigan, people. It's winter. I went out. I was only out for like 20 minutes because it was flipping cold, but the lake thawed, so I was on the board. I did not float because, the lake had just thawed, so you can imagine how cold it was. So I'm a chicken. You can go ahead and call me a chicken. But I did paddleboard while it was snowing. I did not float, but floating is one of the most natural and calming sensations we can find. There are float tanks. It's a popular spa treatment now. So has anyone done one? I have not done one because I have a giant float tank in my backyard, but I'm curious. Has anyone done it? Drop it in the comments. Let me know. Drop it like it's hot, people. Speaking of paddleboarding, yes, this makes me happy. Being on a board, going out and having a good time, right? And again, I cruise around the same lake, right, 100 times a year. And you'd think it would get old. It does not. And there's something about the combination of being outside, watching nature do natural things, looking at the fish or the turtles or the sharks. I'm just kidding. There's no sharks in the lake. And whatever marine life is going on beneath me, the sun beating on my forehead when it's out, the ability to jump in the lake, all super duper things that make me happy. For you, if you don't already know what sets your soul ablaze, please figure it out and make time for it. Super duper important stuff. This is a very cool piece of advice. Actually, remember the first time I saw somebody talk about this, it was Ian Pruckner. Ian made a comment about it, and it just hit me so, like, I was thrilled with the line, because part of the reason my logo is fire and water now, it looks like this thing on my necklace, right? You've seen it, that little yin yang, orange and turquoisey blue, teal. Fire is important, man. Fire is the energy that changes things, that gets things moving, that can get things started. We talk about fire up all the time, right? So passion burns brightly. So find what you're on fire for. Like I said, what sets your soul ablaze, and do that. Do a lot of that, right? Go make that stuff happen. This is a lesson that I've gotten in trouble for sharing because evidently it's cultural appropriation. I'm a Native American, right? So if there's ever been some cultural appropriation, I think my people have understood that. And it wasn't as much cultural as it was land and life appropriation, but whatever. This is an important lesson. I won't talk about it because I don't want to be culturally inappropriate. So, but if you're bored and looking to do some healing for yourself and your energy or the people around you, maybe go do it. Maybe check this out. Okay, there. It's not appropriated now. I'm just sharing. Is it appropriating? You can tell me. We're friends. I'm okay either way. I honestly, in all sincerity, I'm a little bothered because if you're doing it respectfully and carefully and caringly, it seems like you're sharing and spreading real good work. It's not like I'm saying, I came up with this, right? It's an ancient Hawaiian mystic teaching, right? I'm not ancient, I'm not Hawaiian, I'm not mystic, I'm not claiming it's mine. So I'm not trying to appropriate it. I'm trying to share it and extend it and give credit where credit's due. So, but what do I know? I totally am appropriating this though. This is Vince Petra. Vince is a hypnotist. You can maybe tell by the date or the beard that it was heavy, heavy COVID season that we did this. We talked a little bit about how to use meditation and hypnosis to get your calm on. Very cool video. It's out on YouTube somewhere on my YouTube channel, trybean, youtube.com/trybean. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're right there. It's worth taking a look at. Vince also does a lot of gong meditation. Cool dude. And does some hypnosis around smoking cessation. So if anybody's like, dude, I really need to quit smoking, he could be your guy. So the last slide of the deck. Well, it's the second to last slide of the deck. So this is the last slide of the deck. If you need to reach out to me, contact me. Trybean.com. There's my phone number. There's my email. Let's have a chat. I'd love to talk to you about personal growth, about business growth, about going from where you are today to where you want to actually be, and how to shorten that gap through my knowledge, through my network, through just some ideation that you may not have considered because I'm not standing this close to it like you may be. All right. Good times, people. I'm going to close this deck. I'm going to come back and look at your faces. Whoops. No, stop sharing. Don't end the stream. And then I am going to wish you a fond farewell and give you a very casual yet cordial invite to join me next Tuesday, Trybean Tuesdays. See if you can guess what time. 10 spot. So next Tuesday at 10 a.m., I'm going to be talking a lot about financial wellness, which is kind of ironic because on the 5 pillars, I've done really well on all 5 of them at one point or another, but I haven't done as really well in the financial as I've done in the other 5. Although, now I'm thinking about it, I'm, a little bit overweight. I'm a little bit bald. I am married. We're celebrating our 10-year. We're just booking our 10-year trip. So I've done some relationship stuff. I seem to have some friends some days I don't. Some days I'm really good at beating up young Terry. That relationship with self is tough. Other days, I love that little bastard. He's cute and adorable. So, it's kind of fun. Anyway, all right, I am done. Wow. I had some tea today. I think it's good tea, folks. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon.